Hi there, everybody. Let's see, do we have sound? I think so. Can you guys hear me okay? I'll explain the sunglasses in a little bit, for those of you that don't know. Anybody that's out there, give me a hell yeah, you can hear me. I see 6 people in there right now. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing. You made it. Jim's place. Hey, welcome. Okay, you guys can hear me just fine. Good. That's what I was hoping for. That is always the intent. So welcome, our initial 8 viewers. Thanks for coming in. This is episode 21 of the PEV live stream. Today's show is going to be, of course, lots of PEV talk, but also a little bit of talk about my current situation. Like I said, for people that just came in, I have sunglasses on. Normally I have on my blue blocker glasses. That helps me with these bright lights. But the reason I have these on is because I had a very, very unexpected health issue come up last weekend. Just to recap, last Friday, I noticed while we were having dinner that I had like an odd taste, like stuff didn't taste good to me. Like soda tasted weird. We had pizza and it didn't taste normal. I thought that I had like possibly like an infection in my wisdom tooth or something. I had no idea what was going on, but stuff just did not taste right. And that continued over the weekend. And then Sunday, last Sunday, I recorded the video where I was doing the one-wheel stuff. I was changing the bumpers on the one-wheel. And when I went back to edit that video, I noticed that it looked like my eyes were not blinking normally. And I've had that. Once in a while, like an eyelid gets sticky or something, and I thought, oh, well, okay, I guess I don't know, it's really sticky for some reason. And I didn't think anything of it until I went to bed, and I was brushing my teeth, and this is last Sunday night. And Cindy saw me in the mirror, and she says, and she just stopped and stared at me, and she says, blink. And I blinked. And here, I'll show you guys what's going on. So like right now when I'm blinking, you'll see that this eye blinks, although it kind of blinks in a slow way. I've noticed watching it back. It feels normal when I'm doing it. But this eye does not blink. It stays open all the time. And yeah, that's why I'm wearing sunglasses, because it's kind of distracting. It's kind of weird. So anyways, she was worried because it almost looked like stroke symptoms. It was very strange. So, and I am the type that absolutely hates dealing with medical professionals. I hate going to the doctor. I hate getting anything done. But, I am aware of stroke symptoms as well. And this was weird enough that I said, hey, we should go to the emergency room. I should get checked out. So we did. We were actually getting ready for bed, and we put clothes on, and luckily the closest emergency room to us is about 9 miles away. Drove there, checked myself in, and it was funny. The person that actually checked us in, even though I said that I'm having problems doing things on the one side of my face, and if you looked at me, I looked stroked out, and she just said, okay, can I have your license and insurance card, just like it was no big deal. So we waited like 10 minutes, and then when we got pulled back to the room, one of the I guess she was a nurse on staff, she saw me, and she just like dropped everything, and she's like, okay, we have to get him in for an immediate head CT, because I look stroked out. She was giving me tests, blinking, trying to open my mouth. Like if I try to smile, and this is me really trying to smile, okay? I'm not just making a stupid face, okay? This is what happens when I try to smile. I don't, this side of my face is more or less, it's not paralyzed, but it is not working normally. So they had me do all of these tests, motor skill tests. You're doing stuff where you're touching your nose, you're raising your leg. And the only thing that I consistently couldn't do was the face stuff. I could not control the right side of my face correctly. So they rushed me in and gave me a head CT. And it was crazy that this place actually had a remote neurologist. They had basically a robot that had 2 screens on it with a built-in camera. When I got back into the room, that there was a neurologist on the other end with a live 2-way feed, and he could control the camera to examine me. And he also instantly got those CT results. So the good news is he said that I did not appear to have a stroke. My head CT was okay, but he said that it appears I now have Bell's palsy. And Bell's palsy is something that I've heard of before, but I've never looked into it in great depth. But one of the people that I watch on YouTube is I watched World's Strongest Man, the Mountain, Hafthor Magnusson, I believe is his full name. He actually suffers from Bell's palsy. He had a very severe case. And like if you see him talk now, he still talks funny, and it's because of the Bell's palsy. He has some paralysis in his face. And there's a million different things that can cause this. It can be a viral infection. It can be trauma. It can be a million different things. But basically what happens is the facial nerve that controls this side of the face, which originates over on this side of the head, on the left head, it gets inflamed. It gets aggravated. Something happens to that nerve that causes it to not fire correctly. And that is why you have these symptoms. So the good news, there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is that it goes away. It heals itself, it gets better. The bad news is you don't know how long that's going to be. It can be, if you're lucky, a matter of weeks. And you can see when I talk to you, like my mouth kind of, you'll notice as I speak that you can see what's going on. But anyways, it could be a matter of weeks, but more than likely it's going to be a matter of months. I read somewhere that 50% of the cases resolve themselves within 3 months, which means 50% take longer than 3 months. So I'm just crossing my fingers that it goes away. Every morning I wake up and I look in the mirror and I smile and I hope that I can smile normally. And it's so today is the 1 week anniversary of me going to the ER. And I have Bell's palsy. It's funny since I discovered I had this. I haven't met a lot of people that had Bell's palsy, but a lot of people at least know somebody that had Bell's palsy. Marty even, he messaged me, and I believe he said his mother had it years ago, had Bell's palsy. So it's not quite as rare as I might have thought it was, but it is annoying. With the eye not blinking correctly, I'm on a very, very consistent eye drop protocol. I'll probably have to do this once or twice during the broadcast here. I have to keep that eye lubricated because it's not blinking on its own. As you can imagine, that would be a bad thing. So periodically, I just like hold it closed. Luckily, I have been able to sleep okay. It seems like if I relax and lay long enough, I can barely get that eye closed, so I can sleep okay. But it's been an interesting week. And one thing that Cindy mentioned at first, and at first I discounted it, but now I've been thinking about it more, is 3 weeks ago I had basal cell skin cancer cut out of my forehead, right here, the top left corner of my forehead. Keeping in mind that the facial nerve that controls the right side of the face comes from the left side of the brain. Now this is up here. I'm not sure of the exact path of the facial nerve, or if there's any possibility that it could be related to having that surgery to remove the skin cancer, but it is definitely possible. That happened about 3 weeks ago, the surgery, and then the Bell's palsy kicked in 2 weeks basically after that. So I actually have a message in with a dermatologist just to asked him about it, but I have I have a feeling, for legal reasons, he probably doesn't want to fess up that, yeah, there's a possibility that that could be a side effect. I don't know. So yeah, that's what's going on. Lots of fun. So okay, let me check the chat. How we got 17 people in here. Yeah, probably people want to see. I did mention on the forum that I am now sporting a Bell's palsy face, so I'm sure that's interesting for people to see. Radio Rob, hey Radio Rob. It's called Bell's. It's Bell. Well, I saw it as Bell's palsy, not Bell palsy. It's actually named after someone named Bell. As you can imagine, I've done a lot of reading on it. You had it happen to an ex-girlfriend? Yeah, there you go. It seems like a lot of people know someone at least that had Bell's palsy. So in your ex-girlfriend's situation, what caused it? Do they know what caused it? Like right now, what I'm on prednisone and a antiviral medicine, with the hope being the general anti-inflammatory properties of prednisone will reduce the inflammation, whatever is causing a problem with that nerve. Been on that for a week. I have 10 days supply, so I only have a few more days of it. And the antiviral, because I've heard of various viruses could cause it, although that from what I've read, it's a less likely scenario. So prednisone isn't exactly, anytime you're on a steroid, it's not exactly fun. They have their own fun array of side effects as well, so I'll be happy to get off of that. But so we went to the ER Sunday. We got home Sunday night at 1 a.m. maybe, and I went to work the next day. It's not like sitting home is going to make me feel any better. It's not like I'm not able to function. So I went right back to work. And this weekend, I busted my ass all weekend. I came in at 6 o'clock. Working for a good portion of the day. We did get out to ride this morning. I didn't even have any time to edit the video. I actually have a couple of videos I have to edit at some point. Haven't had time to do it yet. So yeah, physically I'm okay. It's just annoying, it's hard not knowing how long this is going to last. And the problem is if it lasts a significantly long time, your facial muscles start to weaken and deaden. So even as you start to regain sensation in them, you might have to do literally physical therapy to strengthen your facial muscles. It's bizarre, man. It's just crazy. Don't get old. Let me tell you. Brett says I should wear an eye patch to keep air off my eye. I have an eye patch, and it didn't. And I did wear it some. It didn't really help me much. And today I rode, and I had on my glasses, and I was fine. I surprisingly, the stuff that I'm taking, it's cysteine. I guess it's sort of a little bit gel-like, so it kind of coats the eyeball. So I've noticed that I've been much better. Even though I still can't blink my eye effectively, I've been much better using these drops. And just using glasses, I was fine. Because with the eye patch, it doesn't make my eye close. It just you're just looking at the back of the eye patch, and I just found that more disorienting than anything. It's hard looking at something with one eye all the time. So I don't know. I think I have a handle at least on getting through my day-to-day routines. But I would sure like to be able to go back to the way things were. Paul Adamac says, my wife has Bell's palsy. It went away and then came back on the other side. She has had it for a year, still has it. She says there's exercises you can do. You should do them. Yeah, Paul, thanks for that information, Paul. That's interesting, because I read that Bell's palsy usually does not reoccur, but maybe it just doesn't normally reoccur to the same side of the face. In your wife's situation, do they know what caused it? What the source is of the problem? And the exercises, I guess, I can't do exercise. I can't move my muscles on that side of my face, so I don't know if you're just supposed to rub it or whatever. It's nice. I do. It's almost like I have Botox in the side of the face. My forehead doesn't move, and things still don't taste good. And eating can be a challenge. Sucking things up. Drinking Dunkin' Donuts coffee is a challenge. I have to be very, very deliberate trying to drink coffee so I don't wear it. I have to press and make a very tight seal and apply a lot of suction to get the coffee out. Otherwise, I wind up wearing it. Drinking from a straw, we found out last night, is not fun either. And I can no longer whistle. So, but yeah, these things should pass, hopefully. Hey, Scout. Yeah, sounds scary. Well, I'll tell you what was scary. What was scary was going to the ER and having the look of great concern on the nurse's face. When she saw me, she freaked out, and I wouldn't say she freaked out, but she was very, very concerned. And I'm like, oh my God, am I having a stroke? So I've been trying to keep that perspective in mind. Yes, this is a pain in the ass. Yes, it affects things, but it's not a stroke. A stroke can be lights out, or permanent brain dysfunction, or permanent paralysis. So it could have been much worse, but it's still scary. Got to be honest. Radio Rob says we can call him Nick Fury. Yeah, sure. That's true. I should wear it for Avengers Endgame, shouldn't I? I'll just say that I'm cosplaying. Darren Knight says, hey, pulling for you, man, sounds a bit scary. Hang in there. Thank you. That's what I do. That's all you can do in this situation. You have to just keep working with what you got, right? Scouts Honor says, caffeine pills are great if you need a coffee break. I can still drink it. I had Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and then the guy that... I didn't explain this yet, but actually when I was riding at the Greenway today, Cindy and I were riding, we ran into not one, but two other people on EUCs. I've been riding EUCs in Naples for around 3 years, and I've never seen anyone else on an EUC other than people that I've gotten involved, like me, Cindy, Katie, and Daniel. So yeah, we ran into not one, but two people on EUCs, and the one gentleman named Bruce, he actually rode with us for quite a bit, and we stopped and got some frozen coffee, which I'll talk about later, but yeah, it was awesome. Jim's Place whistle. Here, I'll try to whistle, see what I can do. Nope, can't do it. And when I look at my face, like my mouth is like shifted, like my mouth isn't centered under my nose anymore. It's a bizarre thing, man. It's like Bizarro World. And I gotta be careful drinking, too. Luke Perry had a stroke. Yeah. Scout, it's funny that you said that about Luke Perry having a stroke, because when Luke Perry had a stroke, it made me get off my ass. And I'm sorry that we're not talking about PEVs yet, guys, but we will. When Luke Perry had a stroke, and he's right around my age, I think he was 52, maybe. I'm 51. And I'm like, get the hell out. Luke Perry had a stroke. That's crazy. And him having a stroke actually motivated me to finish up the prep that I did for my will and my power of attorney. And I had that stuff. I was working on that, but I never finalized it. After Luke Perry had his stroke, I would say within 2 weeks, I actually went and got it notarized and official. Just because, I don't know. It's kind of weird. But then here I am thinking that I had a stroke. And I remember kind of thinking about that. I'm like, wow. I hope I'm not like Luke Perry. So, it's been a weird week. JFO 14. I just got one for $13.25 and can't wait to get it. Just curious if you like yours. JFO 14, what did you get for $13.25? And just give me a second while I manually blink my eye. Yeah, JFO, tell me what you're referring to, if you got an EUC or whatever. Bruce, the guy that we rode around with today, he has a 16S, KingSong 16S that he got from E-Wheels. And I actually let him ride my 18L today, and he loves it. He's going to be getting an 18XL. But I did ride his 16S as well, and it's fun. It made me excited about the prospect of getting a 16X. Because I do not have a 16-inch wheel anymore, so yeah, it was fun. Overrip. Hey, Overrip. I've been talking about my eye pretty much since the stream started. This is my eye. This is what it looks like when I try to blink. This whole side of my face is pretty much dead, and it's been that way. It hasn't really changed much. It hasn't really changed at all that I've noticed since the Bell's palsy onset last Sunday. I've been on prednisone for a week, and I have a couple more days of that, and then we're just gonna hope it goes away. That's really all you can do. That's what the neurologist said. There isn't a lot you can do other than if it goes on for a while, you should do stuff to try to exercise your face. I don't know if you guys know who Jack LaLanne is. Jack LaLanne used to do all these funny face exercises, and that's kind of the sort of stuff that I'm going to have to probably wind up doing. So, okay. All right, we are caught up on chat. So, yeah, that's my health situation. Not fun, but could be worse. That's the way I would put it. All right. So, how's everybody doing? Other than my weirdness. Hopefully everybody else is doing well tonight. Did Marty ever... Scouts asking about Marty... Okay, wait, let me go... I missed the Darren Knight. Hey, I drive over to Fort Myers from Fort Lauderdale every other weekend. May need to put together a little evening ride with your new EUC friends. Hey, Darren. Yeah, we could maybe work something out. I don't ride very much at night, but yeah, we could probably work something out. Scout says, did Marty ever rehab his shoulder subluxation? Marty actually did go to the doctor, and his shoulder was actually broken. He actually broke it up here on his humerus, I believe, if I've got my medical terminology correct. He did have a break right here, up here close to the shoulder. He's undergoing rehab right now for it. I don't know if it's helping a lot, but that's all stuff that's happened in the last 2 to 3 weeks. I guess he had still pain, and it was bad enough that he finally went to the doctor. So when he had that bad wipeout, he actually did break his upper arm. So yeah, bad stuff. JFO14 asks, is the 18L my favorite wheel? The 18L is probably my all-around favorite wheel right now. As far as EUCs go, I've been riding that more than any of my other wheels. But I love all my other wheels as well. Like the M10-3 is great for doing slow riding with tricks and riding backwards in tight turns and small spaces. Much better than the 18L for that use. The Monster, the Gotway Monster, is a great open road cruiser. Just because the tire is so big, and it has a seat option. That's probably the best wheel I have to go long distances in a short amount of time. But the 18L is right in the middle as far as being able to be controllable, comfortable, powerful. So I would say from an all-around perspective, my 18L is my favorite EUC right now. Yes, Marty did have a great run of good luck until it ran out, Scott. And it's funny, I do still see him riding around, like he was riding his M10-3 the other day, I guess, and he got a flat, but he was riding with, I think, just wrist guards, nothing else, which I was a little surprised about, because you can still wipe out on an M10-3, I guess, but I guess he feels comfortable enough and confident enough that he does not do full gear on his M10-3. I'm almost always full gear now all the time. Just with all the frickin' wipeouts and bullshit that's going on with people wrecking, and which again we have another interesting story to talk about this week about safety and pushing the limits. But it seems like we could have a conversation about that pretty much every show. It seems. JFO14 says, did you ever have the Inmotion V8, and how does the 18L compare to that? No, I have not ever had an Inmotion V8. Cindy had an Inmotion V5F for a brief period of time. An Inmotion V8 is a 16-inch wheel. I've never heard bad talk about the V8. It's a very solid wheel to learn on. Good build quality. It's not terribly fast, but I think it can get up around high 18, 19 maybe, something like that. So it's plenty fast enough, and 16 inches is good size to learn on as well. but an 18L is a better wheel. So okay, I want to start working through some of my notes here. Some of you guys might have heard there's this guy on YouTube, and his channel name is Hsing, Hsing, and I heard some other people talking about this, and maybe it has no credibility whatsoever, but basically around the 16-minute mark in the video, he says something about that he heard from a reliable source, but who knows how reliable he is or that source is, that the Z series Ninebot EUCs is the last electric unicycle they're going to make. And he said that basically their original intent was to just primarily distribute it in China, and his theory was maybe that has something to do with why there's been such abysmal support for the wheel for dealers overseas. You know, I've heard Ian say it, and obviously Jason is fed up. He's not even selling the Z10s at this point, just because the warranty claim and service process is just ridiculous. So it's interesting if that is true. I'm not quite sure why that would be. It seems like they sold a lot of the Z line, and obviously they've had some very, very annoying problems with them. With like the battery discharge problems, some system boards being dead out of the box, and some other weird things. But it would be quite interesting if they decide to get out of the single wheel PEV market and just concentrate on like scooters and mini pros and that kind of stuff. I don't know. Very interesting though. I don't know if anyone else has heard any more details about that, how accurate that is, but the Hsing, Hsing, I want to give proper credit. Hsing, Hsing, said that he heard from a couple of dealers that is the case. Or not dealers, distributors, I think is the way he determined or described them. And you have to bear with me with my speaking. My speaking does get... I'm not a great speaker normally, but I'm worse. I'm worse with this, believe me. So... Scout says Ninebot had a sketchy reputation for years now, according to dealers like Ian. Yeah, exactly. I very clearly remember Ian basically having the rug pulled out of him, or pulled out from under him when he was selling Ninebot 1E pluses. Ninebot basically just pulled the deal from him, whatever arrangement they had, and just said tough shit. So yeah, they've had a history of kind of being pricks. Which is too bad, because I think they have the ability to make good products, but if they don't service the products, you have to service the customer, or else you lose the customer. It's pretty much business 101. Oh, Auntie Cecilia is here. Hi, Auntie Cecilia. Last live stream you were here. You were still in Florida. Is it fun to be back in Illinois, or would you rather be in Florida? And Auntie Cecilia, how do you like my face? My face look nice? I can't blink this eye. And this is just like hanging there. It's great. Yeah, Auntie Cecilia had a problem getting home. I heard about your problems with the airline. It did not sound like a fun adventure to get home. I'm glad you finally got home, but it certainly took longer than everybody expected. ID Scooter Rider says they are making scooters for the rental services. They, I assume, being Ninebot. They're selling tens of thousands of scooters versus hundreds of Z10s. It's a no-brainer. Yeah, that does seem to be the way it's going, and I've heard Jason say the same thing, that he sells a ton of scooters. I don't know what his ratio is between scooters and EUCs, but I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, a learning curve on a scooter is basically non-existent. And Lord knows that the world we live in today is much more an instant gratification place to be than ever before. So a lot of people don't want to put in the time and energy and potential pain to learn to ride an electric unicycle. So yeah, scooter is a easier snap purchase. And just like anything, the entry price or the entry point for scooters, although you can pay a ton for one if you want to get a Dualtron Thunder or something like that. But I mean, you can get a scooter for less than $500. So, and since I don't know, is Ninebot a public company? Like, are they publicly traded? Because if they are, we all know what that usually leads to. They're profit generated or profit motivated. So if they're selling a lot more scooters, I guess it would make sense that they're going to concentrate more on scooters. Which, I mean, that's fine. We can deal with Gotway and KingSong, I guess, and Inmotion. Auntie Cecilia, the steroid, it still has side effects, but it's, I think I've kind of gotten used to them. I've split it to, I'm taking two of the prednisone in the morning and then one at lunch. And then the antivirals I take breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I'm getting by. I'm fine. I'll be fine, but I'll be finer to get off of it. Taking steroids is not ever a great long-term plan of action, for sure. Oh, I see. Talking about your delay on your flight. Jim's Place says, rental scooter companies may hurt us all. They just drop them in the cities and make a mess. Yes, Jim's Place, I do agree with that. I think that there's a lot of potential for the Lime and Bird craze to blow up in our face. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised that it hasn't more so already, because I hear just like you, I hear all these horror stories about people driving them like idiots, people getting into accidents with them, people just like dumping them across the sidewalks like they basically litter with scooters. And it's unfortunate, but if that kind of behavior continues, it's gonna impact us poorly, for sure. Like I know here in Naples, they actually, I guess somebody, I don't know if it was Lime or Bird, somebody was trying to push to get scooters, the scooter service in the greater Naples area, and their city council basically said no, forget about it. And Naples is very image conscious, and there's no way that Naples would be okay with people that just throwing scooters all over the place. So it's going to be interesting the next couple of years to see what happens with the scooter craze, and how it affects everybody. Hopefully it doesn't affect us too badly, but I think it might. Thanks, Annie Cecilia. I hope my face clears soon. But everything I'm hearing is it's not unusual at all for the recovery period to be a period of months. So I'm hoping that's not the case, but I'm preparing for that to be a possibility. Daniel Montenegro, are you thinking of ordering the 16X? Yes, I am, actually. Yeah, I like the way the 16X looks. I like the specs of it. I think it's really cool. I don't currently have a 16-inch wheel, so I think that I might be getting a 16X. I talked about this in the last stream. I'm not going to jump on the $500 pre-order bandwagon. I don't have to be one of the first ones to get one. I can wait until they're actually in stock, and I don't have to wait 3 to 4 months to get it. But I definitely think, as far as EUCs go, that would be my next target. The 16X seems really cool. I like the way it looks, man. And that video of oh God, how can I not Daniel Kwan? How can I be blanking on the guy that did the 16X video? Oh my God, man, my brain's affected too. Somebody will say it, but anyways, I mean the wheel took a huge beating, and the inclines that it could cover, it was very, very impressive. Kuji, thank you. Yes, Kuji rolls. Thank you, Benjamin. So yeah, 16X is definitely on the radar, without a doubt. Jim's Place says, I think something should be said about people who purchase their own PEV versus rental. Something should be said in what way? Well, I mean, I would say that it's it's logical that someone that actually purchases one would be a more responsible user. You know, human beings have a long history of treating things that they rent poorly, whether it be an apartment, a car. There's a large subset of people that don't give a shit about something that they're renting. So I would agree that if you own, an EUC, a scooter, an electric skateboard, that you're going to be more conscientious with it. Hopefully. Hopefully. Okay. I didn't have time to really sort through my notes as far as what's coming when, but I do have here some old but amazing EUC tricks. I guess this is a video from 2017. It's a good time for me I can blink my eye while I show this. But I thought it was pretty darn good. So let's pause that and do this. So just watch this for a little bit. I don't know who saw and who didn't see this. I'll give you a little bit of sound. Yeah, standing on top. Those are KingSong 16S's, I believe, mostly that they're riding, or KingSong wheels. Maybe they're 14s too. Look at that. That's an 18S. No, I know it's hard for you to hear me when that's going. Okay. I just thought this was pretty amazing. Especially the stand on top trick. That's quite the trick. And I have seen other people do this kind of stuff, but this is just non-stop people just pushing the limits of what you can do on an EUC. Let me just get the channel this came off of, so I'm giving proper accreditation. We want to do that. That came off of Flora Yuan, F-L-O-R-A, capital Y-U-A-N, off of their channel. They have 131 subscribers, and the video is called Amazing KingSong EUC Electric Unicycle Tricks on a 14B, a 14D, a 16, a 16S, and an 18S. Pretty damn good. Okay, let's start that up again. There you go, me drinking coffee. Okay, get out of there. All right. So I had another note that I saw. I think I saw this on one of the Facebook EUC groups regarding the KingSong 18L and 18XL. It says if you upgrade the firmware to version 1.12, you need to activate the calibration function to make it check for correct gyroscopic data. I haven't checked. I wanted to do that today. I forgot to do that. I wanted to check what version of the firmware I have on my 18L is. For some reason, I thought it was 1.12, but maybe it's not. So if it's 1.11 and you upgrade to 1.12, you want to do the calibration function, I guess, just to avoid potential problems. Because I guess this guy had a wipeout, or the pedals were acting real strange after doing the upgrade. So, any of you KingSong 18L or 18XL owners out there, keep that in mind. Hunka. Oh, and Fat Unicyclist is here. Hey, man. Flora is one of the KingSong reps. Oh, she is. Okay. All right. Well, that was a pretty cool video, I thought. Thank you, Flora. And thanks for stopping in, Hunka. Fat Unicyclist says the latest firmware upgrade does a calibration at the end, and if your wheel isn't perfectly balanced, it will be... Oh, okay, I see. So when you do the firmware upgrade, you want to have the wheel level, or however you want your pedals to be. Okay, that's good to know. So when did that firmware come out? Because I was just saying that I thought that I had 1.12. I need to check. So I assume this just came out recently. And if it did, do you know what else? It's like, is it fixing bugs? What's the advantage of 1.12? Thanks, Hunka. If you get a chance, if you go back to the first 25 minutes of the live stream, I talk in depth about the whole process of how it's come to be. We're at the 1 week anniversary of me being a Bell's palsy guy. Okay, so Fat Unicyclist says, I upgraded with a wheel lying on its side, and afterward it thought sideways was upright. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, so yeah, I will keep that in mind. If I do that upgrade, I'll put it on the stand, I guess, because I'll put the pedals on the stand, and then that'll make sure that it's level. So Brett says that he's worried that he would crack his body on my wheels doing those kind of tricks. Yeah. I mean, the way that they I mean, these guys probably weigh 110 pounds, but they just hop right up on the top of the case, and it's just like nothing to them. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so Fat Unicyclist says that future upgrades on the 18L and 18XL, he did do it on the stand, an EUC Army stand, no less. Thank you. And it didn't need recalibrating. Okay, so that's what I'll do then as well. So supposedly the latest version of the KingSong firmware changes nothing about the wheel, but provides better connectivity for the new app version. Okay. I don't know. I'm not even sure if I have the latest and greatest app either. Gave me all this homework I got to do. I'll get around to it at some point. The old app stops working on the 20th of April. Okay, shit. Well, that's 2 weeks away. Thanks for the heads up. I will check all that stuff, I promise. I'd Scooter Rider says, I haven't written to Jason about the KS18L black side panels that you showed on my slime video, but I don't see them on the eWheel site. I think you need to email him if you want to buy the panels. Yeah, I don't think he sells them as a standalone thing. You just have to inquire about them. But it does look cool, doesn't it? I really like the two-tone look, having the matte black sides and the white trim, and then with my white 18L or XL mudguard, 3D printed mudguard, I think it looks really cool. And I have been working on a version of that mudguard that actually has bump outs on either side of where those screw attachments are, so you can make it be a poor man's kickstand as well. On the video today, I demonstrate that, where you can just turn it off, rotate it forward, and it'll sit on those little nubs. So that might be something I want to test it some more, but that might be something else that I'll be trying to sell in the store. I am selling the regular mud guards for the 18L and XL on the store. I have white hard plastic PLA, and I have black TPU, which is flexible and you can't break it. So you can take your pick. So Brett's a healthy 200 pounds, not fat. Well, that's good. I'm a relatively healthy 185. All right, so where was I here? Okay, so we talked about the 18L. Oh, this is an interesting story. Again, this is mostly an EUC audience, so have you guys heard about the guy in Dublin that got his EUC confiscated by police? I thought that was kind of shitty. He actually captured that on video. He had video rolling during the encounter. Oops. And we don't want that. We saw that. We want... Hold on. Let's see if we can get this up. Yep. Here we go. So I don't remember what wheel he's riding, but the gist of it is he's riding, and there's a cop on a motorized scooter that pulls ahead and stops him, and says that, yep, there he is, says that he is not allowed to ride his EUC on public roads. And he said to be on public roads, you have to be licensed and insured. But the catch-22 is you can't license or insure a EUC. So it kind of sucks. And it's funny, like towards the last 25% of this video, there's a guy approaching. He's riding a scooter, an electric scooter, and the cop reaches out and plucks him off the street and nails him as well. And the guy, I thought the guy that was riding the EUC took it well, probably better than I would. This cop saying that, we're going to confiscate your EUC. Like the guy said, okay, well, can I just walk it home from here? Nope. I saw it, so I have to take it. So it cost him something like 120 euros to get it back, and it just, it just sounded really, really stupid. Because technically, I guess, you're not supposed to have it on roads. You're not supposed to have it on sidewalks. I think like private property by word of the law is really the only place that you can legally ride those things in Ireland. I thought it was kind of funny because remember Ian and John did that 1,000-mile ride on their monsters, and that included Ireland, and luckily they never got stopped. But I thought this was kind of ridiculous. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but this is the scenario that I'm worried about happening here, in the United States, where there's an overreach and there's a knee-jerk reaction by all kinds of local governments to just ban these things altogether. Because some people like saying no. I thought it was interesting that he blurred out the cop's face for this whole thing. I'm not sure. I know at least in the United States that you certainly are allowed to film police officers. Maybe in Ireland you're not allowed to do that either. So let me just see if I can skip ahead to where he pulls over the guy in the scooter. And it's funny, the guy in the scooter, like he's geared out. He has his yellow safety vest on. Here he comes. Not going fast. Hey, buddy, you better stop. You better stop, man. Get your ass off that scooter. It's crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, that kind of stuff just annoys me. It really annoys me. So, yeah, he got his scooter confiscated as well. Okay, so Fat Unicyclist says, yeah, insurance is mandatory, and he didn't have it. Well, yeah, but my understanding from what I read was you can't get it. You can't insure an EUC in Ireland, right? Unless I'm missing that detail. The way I understood it is you can't insure them, so you're screwed. A true catch-22, if you ask me. Hunka asks, how's that cop going to carry the EUC away? It's quite heavy. Well, that's true. Oh, you know what? No, he called for backup. That's right. Because I listened to the whole thing. He called for backup. He had a police car come to take the scooter and the EUC. A fine use of police resources, in my opinion. Fine use. And I agree with you, Hunka. I think it was ridiculous for them to confiscate it. It's just, I don't know. I really get bent out of shape when common sense is not applied. But I mean, I guess the law is the law. But again, reading background on this, I thought it said that this law dated back to something in like the '60s or something like that, where these kind of micro vehicles were not a thing, and the law has never been updated. Hopefully they're taking steps, because I know in the UK they're trying to take steps to broaden the scope of law to allow electric vehicles, EUCs, in the UK, because I think technically you're breaking the law if you're riding those on the road in the UK as well, I believe. If anyone from the UK can correct me. But yeah, at least my personal opinion was that seemed like quite the overreach of authority, I thought. Oh, you're right. Okay. Fat Unicyclist corrected me. They did. He called a tow truck. You're right. So you gotta go to a repo lot, and and anyone that's ever paid for a tow, you know how expensive it is. So yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just crazy. So Jim's Place says you're worried about the same. Yes, there are reasons to be concerned depending on where you're at. I can definitely see this kind of stuff happening more and more. Well, like technically in New York City, I don't think that they're supposed to be actually riding electric unicycles in the street in New York City. I think technically, the cops there seems to be like an unwritten rule where the cops just look the other way and they don't care. Luckily, you would think New York City police have bigger things to worry about. But I think technically you're not supposed to be riding EUCs in New York City. I think. Daniel Montenegro says there's always a cop who hates fun. Yeah, it seems that way. I know a few park rangers, Yellowstone park rangers, that are that way as well. Cliff Woods is here. Hey, Cliff, how you doing, bud? Cliff says, I think any time that the government notices a chance to get money from us, they jump on it, just like with drones. Yeah, Cliff, I have noticed that myself. I have noticed if you post a drone video at a national park and didn't realize you weren't supposed to fly to a national park, that you could wind up paying a $1,000 fine. So yeah, I have seen that behavior. Hunka Hunka says there's not enough real crime to keep the Irish police busy. I guess. I don't know. Maybe he was just a traffic cop. I mean, and I don't know the situation. Maybe his superior, he was getting complaints and he was instructed that he needs to go crack down on this stuff. So maybe it wasn't even really his decision. So, but regardless of the cause, I think it's unfortunate, and I think when you're looking at laws that are 50 years old, they need to be re-examined in situations like this. Steve Lyon says, don't think that will happen in the U.S. unless there are incidents. Well, there have been incidents. We were talking earlier about Bird and Lime scooters. There's definitely lots of incidents with those. And I'm worried about more and more incidents with EUCs, which I will be touching on more in a little bit. Steve says, I ride through the city every day and at times pass police or traffic safety and they don't bother me on a one-wheel. Steve, where do you live? Are you in New York City or where are you? Because like I mentioned, in New York City, that does seem to be the unwritten rule that they will not bust you unless you're doing something stupid. I do remember like once Casey Neistat did he get stopped? Did he get fined? He was doing something. I think he was blowing through intersections. He was ignoring traffic control devices on his boosted board, I think. So I guess in those situations they will nail you, but I guess I can understand that. Salam Ansari, hey, you got here earlier this week. Salam, how you doing, man? Welcome. Hunka says, it's weird how there's this big Go Green movement and they're doing this to electric riders. Yes, that is ironic. I agree. I agree. With the caveat that it just there is, regardless of how green it is, if EUC riders start, or PEV riders start taking out pedestrians or causing accidents with motor vehicles, or people start dying, then going green goes out the window, and then it's all about getting on the bandwagon and, hey, these things are unsafe and we got to ban them. And then lemming mentality takes over, which is a very dangerous thing in my opinion. So that's why I keep preaching about safety, even though I think it mostly goes on deaf ears. Safe riding, I should say, especially around others. Jim's Place says, I live in the smallest village in New York. I always salute the police driving around, have never had an issue. Yeah, I ride by and in the proximity of police all the time. I've never had an issue. I haven't really talked to anybody about it, but I've never had an issue, so knock on wood. But when I'm around other people, I'm very, very conservative in my riding. I'm very conscious about that. Brett's glad that he has a motorcycle to fall back on for fun. Yeah, there you go. And those are street legal, no matter where you go. Steven says New York City. Okay, yeah, no issues except in parks. Yeah, I've heard of people having issues sometimes in Central Park. And again, I've seen videos of EUC guys, and it's hard to tell unless you're actually there. But sometimes it seems like they kind of zip in and out of people and slower bikes in a little bit of a reckless way. Obviously these are skilled riders, but still, I think it sets a bad tone. People don't like having someone flying by them at 25 miles an hour unexpectedly. Generally speaking, most pedestrians do not like that, and you're gonna invoke negativity when that happens. Brett says, unless China politicians influence our politicians to ban large engine motorcycles, I'm good. Yeah, I don't think that'll happen. I think you're safe, Brett. Salam's just getting off of work. Okay. Well, I just got done working, but I wasn't doing the kind of work that you get paid for. I was doing the kind of work that I do around the house all the time. I installed today's project that consumed most of the afternoon was installing solar panels for the chicken coop. I installed 260-watt panels, and I have a Goal Zero Yeti inside the coop. And my hope is that during the day the panels will power everything, plus keep the Goal Zero Yeti topped off, which has has a kilowatt hour battery, 1,000 watt hour battery in it. And then the hope is that the Yeti battery with the built-in inverter can power the stuff in the coop during the night. And then when daytime comes, the solar panels will kick in and recharge the battery and run everything again. So we'll see how that works. I have everything hooked up, but I don't have the AC equipment in the coop hooked up yet. I want to just do some testing and see what kind of draw I get. I got everything done late in the day, so the panels were only pulling in 50 watts, very very low wattage because it was overcast and late in the day. But potentially during the midday hours, that should pull a lot of power. It's going to be interesting to see what it does. Cliff, hey Cliff. Oh, no, I already acknowledged you, Cliff, but hi again. Most places don't have any laws on the books for an EUC. Funny, because the Segway personal transporter was banned in almost every city around the country. Yeah, I'm familiar with that, Cliff. I have heard that as well. The big Segway, the i2s, like I owned for like 6 months. Yeah, they were banned because they were so big. They would take up the majority of a normal sidewalk, and if you had again, an unconscientious or an unskilled rider on a Segway, you could very easily take out people, other vehicles. So yeah, they are frowned upon, which is funny because it's ironic because when the big Segways were introduced, they were pitched as the transportation device of the future. That got banned pretty much everywhere. So, yep. Salam says, speaking of solar, how do you feel about the Tesla Powerwall? I think it's awesome. After Hurricane Irma, my roof took damage. My roof was already almost 20 years old, so I had to get the roof replaced. And I did consider the Tesla solar roof option, but it was when I was making that decision, it was very, very early in the process, and they actually halted doing that because they were putting all their resources towards getting the Model 3 production line moving smoothly. So I went with a metal roof instead. But Tesla Powerwall is cool. I think Elon Musk's vision is pretty amazing, and what he's accomplished is pretty amazing. So, and I actually, for my next vehicle, my daily driver is a 2007 Prius hybrid. My next daily driver, as of now, I'm planning to get an all-electric vehicle for my daily driver. And right now, the leader in the clubhouse is probably a Nissan Leaf Plus when they're available. The Nissan Leaf Plus has a bigger battery pack, which has a range of around 220 miles. The current Nissan Leaf only has a range of 150 miles, I believe. So yeah, I'm holding out for the Plus. I think it would be awesome. Yeah, my round trip commute every day is about 50 miles. So yeah, I could commute in that thing no problem. Not spend a penny on gas. Your maintenance goes down quite a bit with an electric vehicle. You don't have nearly as many mechanical parts that could fail. So I believe that's the way I'm going to be going. I also was considering the Chevy Bolt, which I don't really like the way the Bolt looks. And the one thing with Tesla and with Chevy is they both have now sold enough vehicles that they no longer qualify for the full federal tax credit of $7,500. Once you cross a certain barrier, I can't remember if it's 100 or 200,000 vehicles sold. The tax spiff that you get gets stepped down. I think it gets halved at first and then halved again. So you're not going to be able to get that full credit on those vehicles anymore. Nissan hasn't sold enough electric vehicles. They'll have a long time until they hit that cap. And also, I was considering a Hyundai Kona EV, which looks awesome and has gotten some really good reviews. But the problem is they have like super limited availability of the Kona. Like they're releasing it in California, like 5 states. I can't remember them all. California, I think Colorado is one of them. But they're not even going to be releasing them in Florida potentially for a couple of years, which I don't understand that at all. I think it's kind of stupid. But the Kona seems like a really nice EV as well, which I think has a 240-mile pack in it. And with Hyundai's warranty, it's hard to beat. So right now, like I said, I'm thinking about a Nissan Leaf Plus. Teslas are cool, but I for whatever reason, I have a lot of I've heard a lot of horror stories about Tesla's braking, Tesla service. I still don't get a lot of comfort from the Tesla service model where you don't have a conventional dealer network. I don't know. I just for what and it's crazy with as many cars as Tesla has sold that I still feel that way. But I feel more comfortable with a conventional car dealer arrangement. So, but the Teslas are super cool, man. Autopilot is fascinating. You can get something not quite as good as autopilot, but close with the top of the line Nissan Leaf Plus. By the way, more and more manufacturers are moving that direction. So okay, EV car. Segway. Hunka says the chicken's got cable TV. Well, they don't have cable TV, but they do have Wi-Fi, and they do have a security DVR out there, and they have a fan, and they have an LED light that comes on at night, and they also have LED Christmas lights that I leave on the coop all year round because for some reason I've determined in my head that the chickens like having the Christmas lights up, so I leave them up all the time, just in the coop. It's kind of strange. Jim's Place says, I think if you slow down a bit while passing people, you generally get a better view. I always slow down around dogs. Me too. They seem to hate anything that can outrun them. Yes. Yeah, I've had a couple dogs come after me. And my general, when that has happened, my course of action has been to step off, because I think trying to outrun a dog, if it is a fast dog, gets close enough and it bumps the pedal as you're accelerating, oh boy, you got a lot of problems. I always feel like I'm better off if I just stop, turn, and face the dog. And every time that I've had that situation, the dog's been friendly and everything. So, and plus I have my full gear. So if I would get an aggressive dog, he can chomp down on my wrist guard or my elbow pads. But I do have some defense. Daniel Montenegro says, not for nothing, but your Dualtron is illegal to ride here in Florida. But I'm not snitching. Yeah, I've heard that as well. Well, I mean, the Dualtron I think is illegal, and probably EUCs are technically illegal. I've read there is a law regarding low speed vehicles. But the law, and I've actually seen a pamphlet on it, and the law in Florida specifically talks about golf cart conversions, because that's a very popular thing down here in Florida, where people convert both electric and gas golf carts for the road. And in that law, it talks something about a top speed, like it can only have a top speed around 20 miles an hour. So the Dualtron can go twice that. So yeah, obviously, by letter of the law, it would not meet those parameters. But again, I'm just going to, I guess, plead ignorance, and if push comes to shove, I guess we'll deal with that situation when it comes. But I don't know. I mean, how much different is a Dualtron from an electric assist bike, really? I mean, these electric assist pedal bikes, I've seen them that they can go high 20s, pushing 30, low 30s, I think, actually, the higher end ones. So, I mean, how do you draw the line there? Because there is no restriction on bikes. So I don't know. we'll see what will shake out. We'll see. Cliff says, I think you will need at least 200 watts of solar panels to do what you want. Well, I actually bought 260 watt solar panels, 12-volt panels. They're wired in parallel. So that is their potential max output. Now, like I said, when I hooked it up this evening, I was only pulling, my max I showed was like 50 watts because it was overcast and late in the day. The equipment, when I hook it up to the Yeti, because that's one of the things I like about the Yeti, is it has all this monitoring information on the screen. You can see the wattage in, wattage out, amps in, amps out. My output, if I hook up everything that's in the coop, including I have 2 fans as well in there, I think my output was right around 95 watts going out. That's what it needs just to break even. So the big question is going to be, can the 1,000 watt-hour battery support 95 watts all night long? I'm not quite sure. If the worst case scenario, I might have to split the load. Like if it cannot easily support that, I might have to, leave some of the stuff on conventional power and put other stuff just on solar. So we'll see. It's going to be a lot of experimentation. We shall see. Hunka Hunka says, you would think the insurance companies would jump on the chance to provide coverage for PEVs, but I guess they're in a gray area. It could be difficult. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, insurance companies usually like to make money, but if someone determines that it's a very risky thing, insuring an EUC, with obviously there's a high degree of or high chance of bodily injury. Maybe it's not practical for them to do so. I don't know. Be nice if they could if you could add it on as like an extension of your homeowner's insurance policy or something like that. But nothing like that yet. But I think eventually something is going to happen. There's going to be some sort of registration required or something, insurance, something. I think something eventually will. Something will hit the floor. The other shoe will drop, and there will be something asked of us in the United States. That's my feeling. All right, got some good chats coming in here. Appreciate it. Jim's Place says, you pay enough for insurance. Let's not go there. Yeah, me too, Jim. I pay a lot for insurance. It's annoying, I always figured as I got older, as long as I didn't have accidents and stuff, that my insurance, my auto insurance, will go down. It's logical to me. The older you get, usually until you get really old, and then you become more hazardous. But as you get older, you generally have less accidents, have less incidents, and you're less expensive to insure. That has not been the case as an adult. Ever since I lived in Florida, my car insurance has gone up every year, regardless of I haven't had accidents, I haven't had claims. My insurance still goes up. So. There's a reason that insurance companies have as much money as they do. Brett says that he just ordered a portable solar generator, the Apex. Is that the Apex? Is that the Energy? INERGY Apex? It used to be called the Kodiak, the K2. And so it's an Energy K2 probably. Or Energy Apex, I don't know. He says, if my EUCs don't get swiped from police, I can charge them with this unit in a grind-down situation and still be able to commute. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're talking about the same thing. I was actually thinking, if this experiment goes well with the chicken coop, I was thinking about a scenario where I install more solar panels and I somehow use them to power the stuff in my hobby room, which includes 3D printers and the all my EUCs and PEVs are in there to charge them. I was thinking about that possible use down the line. I would probably need a higher capacity solar generator. They make the Yeti comes in a size as big as 3,000 watt hours, but of course the price is very, very expensive. So, and the Yeti has a pretty surprising output. It actually the inverter can support 1,500 watts continuous with a 3,000 watt surge, which is pretty damn impressive, I thought. And Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to do some testing. I have one of those kilowatts. I don't know if you guys are familiar with what a kilowatt is. I don't have it in here right now. It's one of those devices where you can plug it into a circuit and then you can see what power is being pulled by an appliance or a device or whatever. And by using that, you can get a rough estimate of how much power you might consume. I used it out in the coop as well prior to setting up my solar. So I don't know. To me, it would be awesome if I could pay for my power that I use for 3D printing and charging EUCs, via solar. I think that would be awesome. I'm not sure if it's viable, but it would be awesome. Cliff says that be aware that the Leaf has no active battery cooling. It relies on ambient air. The Bolt, like most electric cars, has real cooling and heating system for the batteries. Cliff, is that true with the Plus as well? Because the Plus has a totally different battery pack. I'm wondering if that is not that the Plus has the cooling. And I am aware that I know Teslas have a cooling system. I wasn't aware if a Bolt does or doesn't. Even my Prius had the hybrid battery pack. The cooling system in a hybrid battery pack is basically a vent that goes down to where the battery is and it blows air out. That's its cooling system. So, but I mean, Cliff, have you heard something negative in regards to the way the battery performs in the current Leafs without that battery cooling technology? Now, obviously, batteries like to run cooler, so it makes sense. Salam says, I was looking at the Chevy Volt hybrid and zero electric motorcycles. I have heard of those as well. And of course Teslas, but I would like my next vehicle purchase to be fully electric. Yeah, me too. Me too. I think it would be awesome. Hunka's got to go make dinner. Okay, thanks, man. Catch up later. Daniel says the law is for 2 wheels, nothing on 1 wheels. Yeah, that is correct. I have, like I said, I have seen that law, and it does mention 2 or more wheels. So I guess you could get out of it on a technicality, maybe, if a policeman would pull you over, and if you had a copy of that ordinance in your pocket and say, hey, look, I got 1 wheel. This is 2 wheels or more. So that is a loophole, I guess. Steven says, what incidents have you heard of? Maybe there are too many in NYC. It doesn't warrant attention of electric modes of transport. What incidents have I heard of with what? As far as scooters and stuff? I've heard tons of problems with people on Limes and Bird scooters losing control of them and getting in accidents and hitting people, hitting things. I've heard a lot of that. And then all of the general complaints about people just discarding them all over the place like trash. So Cliff says it's been one of the biggest battery complaints on the Leaf, decreased battery life because of lack of cooling. Yeah. If that's true, Cliff, that would be a negative for sure. And that's something that I would look into to see if that is if that's addressed with the Plus or not. Hey Clay, you just got back from discovering a huge off-road area on the one wheel. All right, nice, man. Where at? What area? Naples, Bonita, Fort Myers. Where'd you go? You never know where you're going to go. It looks like we're getting some here on the live stream. Let's kill that. Oh yeah, the Twitch stream totally died. Interesting. Okay. I was streaming to Twitch as well. Let me know if you guys can hear me or not. It looks like there might be a network thing going on here. Taking a look. Stream resumed. Okay. Alright, it said the stream is resumed. bear with me. I'm just looking at my stuff here. Yeah, why are you running? Okay. All right. So hopefully you guys can hear me. It says the stream is resumed, but I can't really verify that myself. So I'll just keep talking. Okay, Brett says that he just used your kilowatt to help save me money on a new hand vac. The charging light went out, but used the kilowatt, and I was able to see it was still charging. Saved $100. Okay, cool. Yeah, kilowatt's awesome, man. It's really handy, and it's also a really good way to get an idea of what the parasitic draw is, like when you have stuff plugged in, but not like, for example, I have all of my, and I should put the kilowatt on this, I have all of my chargers plugged in into a strip all the time, and that strip is turned on, and I have a feeling if I would put a kilowatt on there and see what the parasitic draw is on there, I would probably be disappointed. So yeah, I need to do that. I'm sure I'm spending power that I don't need to be spending. So Steven says, I've heard nothing here. Here being NYC, but haven't ever seen a lot of riders except for bikes. Yeah. Like I said, in New York City, the incident that pops into my head is I know Casey Neistat got stopped for disobeying traffic devices, you know, stoplights and stop signs. And I think also he was riding in a bike lane somewhere, and I guess a cop stopped him. And I think this was both times it was on his boosted board. He got shit for that. All right, looks like the stream health is getting a little bit better. Okay, so let me get through notes here. You know, with this eye thing, it's not exactly fun to be sitting in front of bright lights forever. All right. All right, so we talked about the Dublin crash. Okay, so this is now referring back to my my speech or my talk about safety last week or 2 weeks ago, and that was in regards to the rider in the San Francisco area that crashed going 40 miles an hour roughly when he was in a group ride, and he was racing somebody on a very fast electric skateboard on his MSX. He rode the wheel to cutout speeds and went down hard. Luckily did not injure anybody else, but there was multiple opportunities for that to happen, and I talked about in depth. I'm not going to rehash the whole thing, but I talked in depth about why I thought that was not a great situation. It was poor decision making and how it could negatively affect us in the future. So I guess roughly a week after that, there was another rider, and I believe he might also be in the Bay Area because I saw one of his posts in the Bay Area e-skate group. So I'm kind of guessing that he might be in that same group of riders. I'm not 100% sure. I guess I don't need to mention his name. Again, you guys probably, if you're in the EUC community, you probably know this guy. But he is one of those, at least my impression is he's one of those riders that wears riding at the machine limits as a badge of honor, basically. He has an MSX as well, and he crashed, according to his app, at 41.7 miles an hour. And I just thought it was ironic. Oh, that's just the image. Okay, let's see if... Yeah, let me see if I can get this to post. I don't know that this will post or not, but let me try it. Yeah, I did. Okay. There's his. That's his screenshot from his app. Top speed 41.7 miles an hour, and his MSX cut off there. He disabled his tilt back mechanism. And I was reading, he posted this on, I think, a couple different Facebook groups. I only kind of read about it on one. But he was saying how, yeah, normally I can ride 40 miles an hour, no problem. I have it dialed in right there. You know, I know when to back off. Because it's ironic that he said that because on the panel I posted a poll after I had my safety talk, asking what people thought about the situation basically. And on that poll, this guy, he must, maybe he's a subscriber. His comment on that poll about what you think about people riding that fast was riding on the beep, riding on the machine limits. I think is the way that I. Let me just see exactly how I worded the question. Let's see how quickly I can do that. Okay. Okay, yeah, my poll question was, what are your feelings about aggressive on the beep riding? And the options were, it's cool and exciting, which got 4%. It's dangerous and reckless, got 46%. It's fine as long as the rider is only putting themselves at risk, got 38%. And 12% of the people did not have an opinion. So anyways, on this poll, this person that crashed at 41.7 miles an hour, he posted this prior to this crash. He said, the beep just means that you're at 80% of your top speed. I have reached 100% of my top speed before without a problem because I know what I'm doing. All right, well, I guess maybe he should post a revision to that, because I guess he didn't realize he was going 41.7 miles an hour, and I guess that's his limit. But having such a slim margin of error is crazy to me. I think it's just crazy. With that being said, and if you want to do that in an isolated environment, no one's around, you want to see how fast you can go. Great, go ahead. If you want to turn into a big human brush burn, I assume he had gear because he survived the crash, obviously. But yeah, if you want to do that and only injure yourself, that's fine. But my stance on that is the same as it was 2 weeks ago. If you're doing that kind of stuff around other people, and your luck runs out and you take out somebody else, you damage personal property, you cause an accident, you cause bodily harm to someone else, then you are creating a problem for me, and you're creating a problem for everyone in the community. And that was my simple point. And like I said last week, it's an unpopular stance to have, because you're like a party pooper. Oh, don't tell me how I should ride. I'm going to ride the way I want to ride. Well, the adult viewpoint on that is, yes, you should ride how you want to ride, but you need to be considerate of or thoughtful of what inconsiderate or dangerous riding can mean for everybody else. And that's a big ask, because in general, a lot of people don't like to think that way. They don't like to think big picture. They just like to think about their little sphere of influence and live in the moment. But it's crazy stuff, and it just keeps happening. People now, that's the cool thing now. I'm going to ride my MSX at 40 miles an hour. I'm going to ride my Gotway Monster 100 volt at 40 miles an hour. Whoa, look at me. And then, okay, if I crash, wow, at least I'll get a lot of views and a lot of thumbs up. It's crazy. So on this guy's post on Facebook, because you might remember when I talked about safety, I said that it's kind of you're looked down upon when you mention that someone's doing something reckless. Someone said, so many stupidity posts nowadays. What are you trying to prove? Being stupid going at such speed on a unicycle? Well, I guess being stupid has its audience too. Now, I mean, he could have said that better. I mean, when that's a comment that's gonna obviously annoy people. But I just thought some of the responses were interesting. Someone said, I agree, but we all don't listen. Going fast gets really addicting, and we all want more. Okay, well, at least he's being honest, I guess. I would think that crashing kind of would help to curb that addiction. Another comment. Only one way to find out how these things work. Cars go 160 miles an hour. Why? Some people speed, some don't. Some of us like to speed and are adrenaline junkies. We don't care if we get hurt because we like the thrill. Okay, again, fine, totally fine. but when you are taking that attitude into an environment where you are putting other people at risk, it's no longer fine. You can't do that in a situation where you are risking harm to others. It's very simple. It's black and white. There's to me there's no gray area in that situation. Another response, wow, is very stupid, is the fact that you think that we should all ride like you. Worry about your own riding. That's exactly the attitude that I see everywhere. It's a very prevalent attitude. Don't worry about what I'm doing. I'm going to ride the way I want to ride. Okay, until you get it banned for all of us. And then the final comment I had here was someone said, "Stay safe and live a long and boring life, bro." I love it. I love it. So, I spent a lot of time talking about this last week. I don't need to, say it all again. But, and like I said last week, or 2 weeks ago, it's a losing battle because, in a nutshell, you're complaining about basic human nature. People do this all the time. They do it in vehicles. They do it in cars. They do it in motorcycles. One-wheelers do it all the time. I read the exact same scenario on one-wheelers. You have this core group of guys that wear it like a badge of honor when they push their one-wheel to the speed where it cuts out on them and it nosedives and they wreck. And obviously you can hurt others on a one-wheel as well. But to me, it's all the same thing. And I don't expect human nature to change. But I still feel like I should point it out, basically. So I don't know how you feel, but let me know. Jaw gets tired. Cindy went out for groceries. She was going to give me a bathroom break, but I guess she's not right now. Okay, let me go. Jim's place. You tipped me? A $2 tip? Nice, Jims. Thank you, man. My last live stream, I got my first ever super chat, I guess is the proper name for it. And Jims, thanks. I appreciate it. Help support the channel. That's awesome, man. I really appreciate it. All right, so what did I miss? Clay says my connection's bad, or is it yours? I think YouTube is having a problem. It's I believe it's cleared up now. This stream health looks better now than it was, but it was definitely having a problem. Cliff says, from what I heard, we're talking again about the Leaf Plus. From what he's looking at, the Leaf Plus still does not use liquid cooling. The warranty on the battery pack is 8 years or 100,000 miles. Yeah, see, that's the one thing, Cliff, that I like about the Hyundai Kona. If they treat the Kona like they do with the Ioniq, I believe the Ioniq has, because Cindy has a Hyundai Ioniq, a 2017 Hyundai Ioniq. I believe the battery pack on that has a lifetime warranty, which is awesome, because obviously the battery pack is an extremely expensive thing to replace. So yeah, that's, I mean, that the 8-year, 100,000 mile warranty. That's kind of in. I think that's in line with everybody else as far as the warranty for the battery. So I mean, it's fine. 100,000 miles would probably take me 5 or 6 years to get through. But you said it still does not use liquid cooling. But it's strange. You would think. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to read up on that some more. I'm curious why Nissan would think that is not necessary, whereas all the other manufacturers think that it is. So that is something to ponder. Yes, talking about the bad connection. Bad connection. Clay heard that kiteboarding will cure. That'll cure Bell's palsy. Yeah. Okay, that's true. I'm there, man. Because it's not a fun time. It's not fun at all. I guess I haven't done an eyeball reveal in a little bit for recent viewers here. This is what it looks like when you have Bell's palsy. This eye closes. This blinks. So if I blink, this eye will blink. This eye will not. And to address that, you have to use drops on a regular basis. You have to periodically, just close the eye, because you risk damaging your eyeball, obviously, if it dries out. These drops I have been working quite well. Now I'm still able to function. We went to the movies last night, watched a movie, so it's an annoyance. It's an annoyance, and of course I don't like looking like this. You're self-conscious of when you're speaking to somebody, because you can't hide it. You talk to me for more than 10 seconds and you can tell. So, but yeah, it is what it is. Katie, oh Katie, okay. Katie says we're on our way home to give you a break. Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, Katie went with Cindy to get groceries, so that's nice. They're coming to give me a break. Good, Katie, thank you. Cliff says the only place selling the Kona right now is California. Yeah. I know California was initially it, but I read somewhere that there's like 4 or 5 states that they're going to be selling it at initially. Because I actually contacted our local dealer and I said, hey, what's the deal? Why can we not sell Konas in Florida? And he didn't really have a good answer. And he said that technically I could buy one, I guess, from another dealer. But then the problem is the dealer here, the Florida dealers, don't have the training or the equipment to service the Kona. So yeah, that wouldn't be a great situation either. So like I said, that's what got me pointed back at the Leaf. If the Kona was available, I think I would probably get a Kona over a Leaf, but I don't think it's going to be. Thanks again, James. You're probably out of here by now, but I do appreciate the super chat. I appreciate the well wishes. So what do you guys think about that? I didn't hear any feedback about the guy going 41.7 miles an hour. I mean, what do you think about how prevalent this is nowadays, where you keep seeing stories about guys pushing the limits on their wheels? And of course, it's always a Gotway wheel, because of the ability to disable a large portion of the safety features of it. I'm trying to think, was there any other wheel announcement stuff this week? Again, I didn't have as much time as I would have liked to dig around. Like usually I try to dig around a few different spots and just see if there's anything that I'm missing. Let's see, I'm just checking here now. I thought Marty might pop in tonight. I guess not. Oh, there were some more comments on that poll. Okay, so after his crash, he said that 41.7 miles per hour is 104.25% of my top speed based on the speed that it beeps at. I was being careless, so it's impossible to say the EUC was at fault. Yeah, I don't think anybody would say the EUC was at fault when you're going that fast. And I don't know how many of you saw, I actually, from the last live stream, I cut out that like roughly 12-minute segment where I talked about the safety stuff because I thought it kind of stood on its own. And I just thought it was something that I wanted to get out there. And of course, I didn't get a whole lot of views. People don't like to hear about safety. It's not exciting. Clay asked about the pint. What about the pint? Pint? I don't have a pint. I'd like to. Oh, those just speaking one wheel. Those of you that saw my one wheel video, I bought olive green bumpers for my one wheel. Future Motion started selling like color coordinated accessories for it. I did a video on it, and I got through the whole thing. I was getting ready to put the last bumper on, and I realized, like a dumbass, I actually bought the bumpers for a one wheel plus instead of a one wheel XR, which physically will not fit. And if you watch a video, it's pretty funny. Me just trying to get this to fit, and it's never going to fit, and me not realizing until I have the aha moment, like, oh, dumbass, you ordered the wrong thing. And at that point, I had said that I was just going to live with it, and I might just keep the one black and one green. But multiple people said to me, hey, you should just ask Future Motion, will they take it back? So that's what I did. I actually emailed them and said, hey, my bad, I ordered bumpers for the Plus. I have an XR. Is there any way you guys would take it back? And they said, yeah. Yeah, they took it back, and they paid for shipping for me to send it back. So I'm going to have to order the right ones, but they did take it back. And I also ordered this week, and it'll be a future video, from Craft and Ride, green vinyl frame stickers, because the frame on the one wheel is blue, and the blue and green and dark olive green looked kind of shitty. So I got these vinyl wraps that are basically cut out in the side, on the size and shape of the side rail, that I'll put that over the side rail, so that will be green, and then I'll have darker green bumpers, and I think it'll look cooler, kind of like Clay's. I know Clay's is kind of color coordinated, so that will be a future video. I have so many future videos in my head, things that I need to do, want to do. I'm just having a hard time getting it all done, unfortunately. Katie asked how badly was he injured, speaking about the 41.7 mile an hour guy. Unless I missed it, he did not say. I did not hear any reports of his injuries. I did not see what the end result was on his MSX. I'm not sure how damaged it was. I don't know. I don't know if he intentionally left that out. And maybe someone knows more information than I have, but I don't know. Cliff says it's just too irresponsible to go that fast in public. It will end up hurting the whole industry in the end. Yes, that is my belief as well. And unfortunately, again, human nature seems to be that you don't know you have a good thing until it's gone. To steal a line from a popular song. It's a shame that it's going to probably come to that. Just like drones. I mean, all the regulation on drones, was the result of people being irresponsible with them. And you can still use drones, but the hobby is severely limited now. And it's hard to know if you're flying in a spot that's legal. Thankfully, the new apps kind of help you. That like some of the apps will actually, like the DJI apps, will actually ground you and not allow you to fly if you're in a no-fly zone. But there are still lots of gray areas that you could get in trouble. So I don't want that environment to be the same for PEVs. That would really suck, big time. Brett says, not cool with the racing when there's a chance of hurting pedestrians. I mean, I would almost cut it off at not cool with racing, short of if you're on a closed track. Heist was here 2 weeks ago from Belgium, and they literally race EUC. They have like an EUC racing league. I think they're on like go-kart tracks and stuff. In a closed environment and stuff, and people are prepared for it, and everyone knows what's going on. That's great, but you're freaking racing by, cars coming the other way and pedestrians on the right that are not expecting that scenario. I just think that's really poor decision making, in my opinion. And just to give credit where credit is due, the guy from that crash 2 weeks ago, he actually did get on my channel and commented on the video and fessed up it was him, and said that basically he said, my bad. I made a mistake. It wasn't smart, and he owned up to it. So good for him. And I can only hope that it just affects his decision making in the future, and maybe helps influence the decision making that some other people make as well. Who is it, Elsa? All right. Daniel says, I love the way the plane looks, but it doesn't have range. Well, it has the same range as the now discontinued One Wheel Plus, meaning 6 to 8 miles, which in a lot of situations is fine. I've only gone on a ride of more than 8 miles on my One Wheel XR a handful of times. But yeah, that is definitely a limitation. I would not be surprised if someone comes up with a third-party way to extend that range, because the one-wheel community is super, super creative. So I wouldn't count that being the maximum range forever. But yeah, that is definitely a negative thing. But the smaller form factor is nice as well. So you're losing range, but you're also losing weight, and you're losing size. And I think it's a much more public transportation friendly option. Brett says, then again, I can't blame the guy, for I am sure he had no idea what the wheel was going to cut out on him. Live and let learn. Yeah, I don't, obviously he didn't intend to crash.
Let me go.
You can come.
I get my shave.
You have to shave?
I'm getting shaved.
Oh, shades. Okay, Cindy and Katie have returned from grocery shopping, and they're going to. I can't wait to see how silly my mouth looks from this live stream.
Hi, baby.
Ready? Okay, Cindy is here. Give me a break. You have 22 people in there.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
What? No one talks when you're gone.
Well, there's a delay. It takes a little bit of time.
I heard Clay talking about.
Clay's there.
I agree with Clay's cure for Bell's palsy.
Yeah.
Let's go. Did you talk about Bruce?
A little bit. Yeah, I got a little bit more. Yeah.
You didn't bring it up?
I did in the beginning. I mentioned that we met up with 2 EUC guys today.
It was. We don't know the other guy's name.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure it out, but he was wearing some kind of kilt. Like, you didn't eat your cookies.
I ate one. I'll have more.
I made him cookies.
The other guy in the kilt was wearing or riding a V10F. I didn't mention that.
Oh, yeah. The guy who was riding with the long hair, the fedora hat, and a kilt was on a V10F.
Inmotion V10F.
Inmotion V10F.
Canon music.
Yeah, he was playing his music. And Katie loves those. She was like, oh, man, I would have loved to see that. So, nobody's talking. Hi. Well, no, it looks like it's circling, like something's wrong with the video.
It's fine.
Oh, okie dokie.
Just keep talking.
Well, either way, big shout out to Bruce Templeton. He was so cool to meet today. Hi, Clay, let's go. So this guy, Bruce, he was all about kite surfing. He was like he wants to do it. Not that he's done it, but we were telling him about you and the one wheel. And, you know, you're like the only local person we know on a wheel of any sort. So it was cool. So, and then the guy on the kilt, Bruce is supposed to email us and let us know his name. But he seemed like a cool dude. So, it's good stuff. Good, good, good. $60 miles per hour and it cut off? Wow. Oh. You took your Mini Pro apart, Cliff? Ooh. The new Mini Pros are only $350. Uh-oh. Sean! So yeah, last Sunday at 11 o'clock we were heading to bed and we're about to brush our teeth and Sean's eye just... Psh. Hi, Brett! Well, I wear the shades because of the EMS. I have a weakness to these incredibly bright lights, so... Sorry, I'm not trying to be cool or anything. I just don't like the light. See, I do have eyeballs, but that hurts a lot. Come eat your cookies and talk to me.
I'll
talk. Okay, let me. Did you guys see the cookies? They're M&M cookies.
They're good.
They're like little rainbow cookies. I think they're great. I love bacon. I love cooking. Cindy with the shoes. So is everybody doing well? I hope everybody's doing good.
You were riding the Dualtron today?
I always ride the Dualtron.
Not always.
Yeah, and you're talking about the guy going 41, but he tweaked. He tweaked it? Is that what happened?
He crashed. He
But did he make it go that fast? They don't
Yes.
go that fast normally, correct?
No, they do.
Oh, they do?
Cookies, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the Gotway MSX. Can go
Oh,
that
I
fast.
didn't know which one you were talking about.
He
So.
disabled like the safety features on it.
Ah. That's what I'm just saying. Okay, he disabled it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious because Cliff said he ordered a new Mini Pro, and they're on sale for $350. So what was
I
wrong?
think it's called a Mini Plus now, or I don't remember what the new
I
one's called.
think I saw something like that. Yeah, I love my Mini Pro. I love it. I love that thing. That was the first thing I unboxed. It was the first thing we had.
I don't know.
It was our first set of wheels.
I don't know. People know that we gave away the one Mini Pro.
You didn't tell anybody? Okay,
I don't think
so
so.
at the baby shower, Katie's dad and stepmom and her 2 half-brothers and little sister were having a great time in the yard, riding around on the Mini Pros. And Sean was so kind to give one to them, hoping they would go out and ride them when they got home. And they actually did, so it was good. So now we just have my white Mini Pro. You found a new off-road area? Ooh, where at,
They
Clay?
didn't say where.
Yeah, tell us where. I'm trying to think. Oh, but has he been down to Baker Park?
Oh.
Clay, have you rode Baker Park? Oh, if it's an off-road area, I could take the Ranger. I do love the Ranger. If I have to be honest, like the most fun thing I've rode is probably the Ranger. To me. When I feel strong and... Are the cookies good?
Yeah.
Good. Big shout out to Cecilia out there. And Cecilia, because she'll probably watch this. I'm psychic. She typed in the moment I said it. Hi.
She was in earlier.
Oh, this is so good. I just said it. We're so connected. I think she's really my mom, my real mom, you know, my soul
She was on
mom.
the last stream.
Oh, I know. Yeah. We were sitting here. It was 2
Yeah.
weeks ago that she was here. Oh, cool. Thank you, Clay. Awesome. Oh, are you, Brett? Do you have light eyes, Brett? Because something to do with having light eyes, the light goes through them, so they are sensitive. I love you too, Aunt Cecilia. She's the best. She's the best. Everybody needs an Aunt Cecilia. Then life would be great. And a Duff. That was so funny today. So you told them how we were riding, and I saw the guy first with the wheel. Some guy in the parking lot was saying that there was a bunch of people on these kind of things, and I'm like, no, there's nobody around here riding just the wheel, the unicycle. And we've seen people on boards and a one wheel here and there and a couple meepos, but we hadn't seen anybody, you know, riding them. But it was so cool. We're coming around the turn, and I see him first, and Sean's behind me a little bit because I was taking off a little bit on the Dualtron, and I was like, wait, and he was like, oh, I'm stopping anyways. Are you? And he's like, that's Duff? And I was like, it was so funny, and he had to think about my name a little bit, but he did remember my name was Cindy. He did. I don't think he remembered Fit Farm Chick, but he remembered it's Cindy, so that's cool. Either one's fine. It was just really funny. It was like a YouTube celebrity moment. It was just funny, and people are, you know, ooh, it's Duff. And I remember seeing a kid on Mini Pro at a mall, like an outdoor mall here in Bonita Springs, and I said, oh yeah, me and my boyfriend, you know, we ride, and he's like, is that Duff? And I was like, yeah, it's Duff. Oh, Cece's riding his Tesla now. He's done with the V8.
Oh, nice.
Ah, well, I first saw someone for him. Guy had the V5, no motor fail. Then had very bad injuries. So nobody ooh, hole in jaw, lots of stitches, fat lips, black eyes. So then, oh, ouch. He had a fall on the V5. Wow. Oh, then motor fail. He had very bad injuries from it. So, ow, that video is funny. You have so much hair in that video. Mm-hmm. And a big goatee. Maui gyms are great. Oh, yeah, they are great. They're expensive, but they are really, really great. They're nice, lightweight, and they're good. I have a pair somewhere, but I think I actually scratched them. Oh, well. Am I done? No. Yes, I'm done. Bye, everybody. I hope I didn't bore you to death. But Clay, send us the details. I want to get on the Ranger X1 somewhere funky and different. So everybody say a prayer for Sean for his Bill's palsy. He looks really...
My deformity.
Stop it. No, I like the eye patch on you.
Really
I kept saying I got my own little pirate. I love it. I like the eye patch. You're not stroked out. It's just your eye doesn't close. That's it. His face looks similar.
My mouth doesn't work either.
You don't notice it unless you're trying to use it. For you notice it. But
you don't notice it unless you're trying to use it. That's true.
You like that?
Good
I
point.
almost bought a sippy cup for you today. It was like, oh, so what? Whatever works, you know. Bye, guys.
Thank you for the break. Love you. Yep.
Hey, ready?
Okay. Got to eat cookies. Feel much better. So anyways, yeah, what Cindy was saying was this guy, we ran into him on the Greenway. he stopped to say, "Hey, are you Duff?" He says, "Yeah, I'm Bruce." And he actually, I knew his name sounded familiar. He said he actually emailed me a while ago when he was, I guess he was thinking about riding, and he actually took my initial path and bought one of those cheap $200 step and roll EUCs that are junk. The ones that go like 6 miles an hour and have like no power or whatever. But he actually learned on one of those, and then he went to the 16S, and he said that he has roughly 3,000 miles on his KingSong 16S, which I thought was pretty shocking. He actually did have the motor replaced on it. I guess he had a problem with it, and it got fixed under warranty. He bought it from eWheels. But he is a snowbird. He basically is down here during the winter and lives up in the Northern Virginia area during the summer. And he rides a lot. Like when he's down here, he said that he usually rides a minimum of 10 miles a day down here. He rides all around the Naples area. So I just thought it was crazy that we ran into not one but two people at the same time after not running into anybody for 3 years. All right, I don't know if I missed anything up here. I just put some more drops in. It's hard for me to. It kind of fogs up the glasses a little bit. All right, just bear with me. Okay, so this is let's see, Barles Charkley. Hey bud, how you doing? When Matthias pushed his wheels of failure, he was on a road with neither traffic, no parked cars, no pedestrians. Yeah, he was doing it around a parking lot, I think. Well, which situation are you talking about? Barles Charkley with Matthias. Are you talking about when he intentionally blew up his MSX, or are you talking about something else? Because if you're talking about his MSX, the only time I know that he pushed it to failure is when he was literally pushing a car around the parking lot. I've never heard him crash at high speeds otherwise, except when he unless you're referring back to when he crashed his ACM years ago. He did a high-speed test on his ACM. I think he got up to 46 kilometers an hour and it cut out on him. I do remember that because he filmed it via his drone. Okay, Cliff, took your Mini Pro apart but didn't see anything wrong. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you said you were having problems with the wheel, like locking up. Ordered a new one. $350. Wow, that's nice. Considering I paid like $800 or $900 for both of mine. I wish EUC prices were like that. It seems Mini Pro prices have come down over time as the technology matures, but that has not been the case with EUCs for the most part. 333NG just ordered a KingSong 16S. Only been back on the V8 3 times. Max speed 13 miles an hour. That's right. I remember you talking about your V8 cutting out on you. You're too worried you'll get another motor shut off. It doesn't happen in the KingSong. But you'll like the 16S. For sure. I'm kind of surprised though that you didn't maybe go up to like an 18. Well, it's more money, so obviously. Elsa, stop licking your foot, honey. Okay, don't have to keep licking it. I'm kind of surprised you wouldn't consider going up to like an 18L or something like that. But like I said, it's obviously more money. But Bruce today, he actually wants to get an 18XL as his next wheel, and I let him ride my 18L around quite a bit, and he loved it. He was really taken back by the difference, the way the 18L feels compared to his 16S. Just smooth and powerful. He really digged it a lot. So he will be getting one in the future, and he was also asked me about my M10 III. So I'm hoping that we run into him again, and I'd like to let him try to ride my other wheels. Rode your Plus to almost 200% usage today with the Ego battery extender. Only came back because of it getting dark. Nice. Yeah, Clay. That's what I was saying earlier. Some people were saying that they like the new one-wheel pint, but they don't like the 6 to 8 mile range. And I said that I wouldn't be surprised if someone comes up with a workaround, like the Ego, to give more range to the pint. I see that happening almost certainly after a certain amount of time. So you see Judkowski talking about his V8 motor cut off as well, doing 16 miles an hour at the time. Well, that had to hurt. CC. 16 miles an hour is no joke. That would definitely hurt. So CC says that he's afraid to get back on his V8 because his cut off as well. Yeah, 333NG was here 2 weeks ago talking about this cutoff, CC. And when I heard 333NG talking about that, I also was very surprised because my general opinion on the Inmotion V8 has been that it's a real workhorse and reliable. So I was very surprised to hear about these cutouts. CC's riding your Tesla now. You're done with the V8. Okay. Oh, speaking of the Tesla, did I put a note about that or not? I think I forgot to. Oh, okay. I did just one line. I did see the Gotway posted that they're releasing a version of the Tesla now with the integrated Bluetooth speaker and a liftoff sensor. You know, like what a KingSong has or an Inmotion. So it's interesting. I'm wondering if Gotway is going to go back and introduce that to a bunch of their models, you know, like put it on the Monster, you know, Bluetooth, because I'm sure it's a very simple thing to add to their other wheels. So I wouldn't be surprised if all the future Gotway wheels have a Bluetooth speaker capability and a lift sensor, probably. So I thought that was interesting. Okay. 333NG says, I saw some on forum, a guy had the V5F, or the V5. He'd been riding 6 months, no problems, and motor fail. He had a very bad injury. Okay, I heard Cindy talking about that. We had a V5F. Never had a problem with it. .333 got a full-face helmet a week later. Okay, well that's good. Full face helmets will save you in certain situations for sure. CC says that he, after his Inmotion cutout, he's wearing full gear. Good. You cannot have too much gear on. Clay says, what are you going to do when you need to change the grip on the one wheel? Pro pad? I don't know. I don't know, Clay. I'm hoping I don't have to change the tape on it anytime soon. Haven't even given it a thought. I haven't ridden my one wheel a whole lot lately. I've just had other things. I haven't ridden a lot in general lately. I've just had things to do. Like I was saying earlier, this weekend was just, you know, I got to ride this morning, but otherwise I was just doing projects almost all weekend. It's almost a relief to go back to work so I don't have to do as much physical labor. 333NG says, for me, 16 inches perfect size wheel. Don't like bigger size wheels. Okay. Have you ever ridden the bigger wheels? Have you ever ridden an 18-inch wheel? I'm just curious. Greg Riddle says weight limit. Are you talking? What are you talking about weight limit wise, Greg? Are you talking about an EUC? Are you talking about the pint? What are you talking about? Can you hear our Alexa reminders in the background? We have echoes all over the house. Okay, so let's see. Wow, stream time 2 hours and 1 minute. I actually came into this thinking that I would like maybe do like an Ian length stream of 60 minutes just because of the palsy. But it didn't go too bad, I don't think. I think it went pretty good. So if you guys, if you have anything else you want to bounce off me, let's get it out there now. Otherwise, I'll be shutting things down. It was, like I was referring to earlier, it was awesome meeting up with Bruce today. He's a cool guy, and he's I think he's 65, going to be 66, and he's riding around on KingSong 16S's. So good for him. Hopefully that'll be me in 15 years. Okay, so Greg says that the pint would support him weight-wise. What was the pint weight limit? Wasn't it like 80. Just look it up here quick. I don't remember what the weight limit was. Let's see if how quickly I can find that. No, I don't see it. What's I'm just looking. I'm looking for the weight limit on a pint. And all I'm finding is videos. I don't have time to watch a video right now. Let's see. Because I have heard of big guys on a one-wheel XR. But really, the motor on the pint is supposed to be pretty similar strength-wise to the XR. I don't think it's quite as strong, but it's close. So I don't know. I don't know if it would have a significantly lower weight limit. Okay, so 333NG says the bigger wheels don't appeal to him. Bigger, heavy, less nimble. Definitely true. An 18L is not as nimble as a 16-inch wheel, which is not as nimble as a 14-inch wheel, which is not as nimble as an N10-3. So you're always going to have that trade-off. And I'm fortunate in my situation that I'm able to just have those different class wheels. But if you don't have that luxury, then yeah, you got to make a decision what's best for you. So yeah, that's cool, man. You're riding. That's all that matters, really. And I learned on a Ninebot 1 E+, which is a 16-inch wheel, and that was really a perfect wheel for that situation for me. You know, it was a good mix. Just a little slow. 13 mile an hour top speed. Got to be pretty slow, pretty quick. One wheel. This is annoying me because I want to see what a pint weight limit is. Okay, yeah, it looks like it's this. I believe it's the same for a one wheel versus one wheel XR versus a pint. 275 pounds is what they're saying. So, if you're more than that, you could be pushing your luck, but more than likely, there's probably a little bit of leeway in there. You could probably be even a little bit heavier and still get away with it. Although with the design of the pint and the more rounded tire, it's going to be a little bit more squirrely than an XR or a Plus, I think. So, okay, guys. We're at the 2-hour mark. I think I'm going to wind it down. I appreciate everyone sticking in there. I appreciate listening to my health issue stories. And as of now, we are planning to do another live stream in 2 weeks, which looks like it will be April 21st at 8 p.m. Unless something changes, I'll be sure to post it on the forum or mention it on my channel, something like that. The 21st? Well, that's all right. It's not like we do any grand Easter celebrations on Sunday nights, do we? So it'll be Easter. So everybody will probably be bored after their Easter dinners. And, yeah, they can come in here and chat it up. That'd be fun. Yes, Brett, I agree. The 16X is sexy as well. And I don't know if you heard in the beginning of the stream, someone asked me about that. And as far as EUCs, new EUCs that have been announced, that's the only one that I have interest in purchasing eventually. Not soon. I'm not going to pre-order it, but I definitely could see me getting one down the line. Down the line. Nicholas Otala. Well, hi, Nicholas. How you doing, man? Did you hear me talking about you earlier? I didn't mention your name, but just Nicholas goes fast. He's Mr. 41.7. Okay. So what do you think, Nicholas? Do you feel the crashing like that? Well, actually, I have a couple questions. Were you hurt? And what happened to your wheel? after crashing that fast? And third question, does it affect the way that you're going to ride in the future? Those are the three questions that my inquiring mind would like to know. And are you part of that group, in the San Francisco group, the same group where they had the other guy crash a couple weeks ago? Okay, so Nicholas says he was mildly hurt. Same group. Okay, so you were in that same group. Okay, that was what I assumed because I saw the one post in the Bay Area e-skaters. Okay, so you got some guys in there that have a need for speed, evidently. Shell is trashed on your wheel. Well, that makes sense. I'm sure it is. Thank you, Brett, for the good night in advance. I appreciate it. And Nicholas, I assume that you had full safety gear because if you didn't have full safety gear, there's no way you're walking away from a 41.7 mile an hour crash. I assume you have full face, wrist, shoulder, or wrist, elbow. Maybe you had a crash jacket on. I don't know. Fill us in, because I was saying earlier, I'm not sure. I didn't look at the the message thread recently to see if you expanded on any of that information, because I was curious what the end result was of all of this, because that's a lot of speed, man. $333NG, have you been back on the 18L with the slime you put in? Yeah, I was on the 18L today. That's what I rode at the Greenway today, and I felt fine. I noticed no ill effects. Some people commented that that by putting the slime in, like I might feel it in the tire and might make the tire feel unbalanced or something, but I did not notice that at all. So. And I know Marty has slimed most of his wheels as well, and I don't think he's ever reported any negative side effects like that either. So, okay, so Nicholas had full crash gear on, it sounds, which would explain why he's typing to us right now instead of laying in a hospital. It's good. So was this Nicholas? Was this the same? Because there wasn't, unlike the other video, that I talked about 2 weeks ago. Was this the same situation? Group ride? Racing, or what was the situation when you crashed? Yes, Nicholas, I agree. Nicholas says 40 miles an hour has a 4% margin of error. It's too risky. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it's razor slim margin of error. It's just, to me, the couple MPH just is not worth the risk, and trashing your wheel and potentially hurting somebody else. Your name sounds like Inge, not Inge. So Inge. Is that the right way? Inge. I'll try to make a mental note of that. Okay, so Nicholas says he was alone when it happened. You ride faster by myself than slower with people in front. Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's a good thing. I again, repeating myself again, I don't really have a problem with people that ride fast if they're just, if the risk factor is only to themselves. That's fine. You decided that's within your risk tolerance. That's fine. I just have problems when that risk tolerance gets applied to other people that have not made that decision. Pretty simple. then E. Okay. Inge E. Okay, so I'm going to call you 333 Inge E, not Ingy. I will keep that in mind. It took me forever to learn how to pronounce Heiss's name from Belgium. Which, he spells it G-Y-S. All right, Nicholas. Well, I appreciate you coming in. You know, like I did mention that the guy that crashed a couple weeks ago, he actually commented on the video that I made about it. So I appreciate you guys, you know, coming in and filling us in. And no, I don't know. Did you tell me? I'm still not saying your name right. Sorry. So Nicholas, am I understanding correctly that you now think that 40 miles an hour on an MSX is not a safe thing to do? Because if that's what you're saying, then I'm glad to hear that. And hopefully you spread that word. And hopefully news of these kind of things happening would make other people think about not going that fast because of what potentially happens. So... Are you cooking now, Cindy? What are you doing? Oh, okay. Cindy's cleaning. So, okay, guys. I'm tired. I'm old. I'm afflicted. So I think I'm going to sign off for now. Again, Nicholas says not advisable to friends. Okay, good. Hopefully something was learned here. That's all you can ask. Live and learn. Human beings are not perfect. Never will be. But we can always try to learn from our mistakes and make better decisions in the future. Right? That's what life's all about. So hopefully that's what happens here. So I appreciate everybody stopping in. This will be published to podcast format. Probably tomorrow sometime. So if you didn't get to hear the whole thing, you can always listen back on podcast format, or you can just watch the video back as well. And thanks for stopping by. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Until next time, Duffman and Cindy, Fit Farm Chick, out.